Alright, so for some time I've been wanting to give my personal thoughts on some stuff. A lot of you guys watched my discussion video with Simo last weekend where we literally talked about things that we wanted to see happen on this. And that video was filmed pre the YCS in Europe, where we eventually learned that Salad was the craziest deck really in the format. So I'm going to kind of touch on, a lot of people have talked about the Danger Engine and in general, and I've seen some predictions that have kind of given me hope a little bit on that. So guys, show me some likes on this, and of course we're going to continue this little band, this segment, for probably the rest of the month, because there's a lot of little pieces I want to talk about and things in different parts. So let's dig on into this discussion on the Danger Engine, shall we? So the Danger Engine is in a very interesting place in the format, and it has started to recluse and fade away. And when you look at the Danger Engine as a whole, a lot of people see a lot of disgusting cards. The fact that all of them all have some sort of draw effect, and they're all plus ones essentially if everything works out for you, or 1 for 1 depending on which effect you end up triggering. Okay, so that's when we had our discussion. We talked about the best way to approach the Danger Engine was to probably just limit every danger card to 1. And I've thought more and more about this just kind of as time has gone on, and I don't think that's going to be the best way to do it, because one, a lot of these lower tier budget decks are playing cards like Bigfoot and Mothman to actually aid their strategy. And when you look at the danger package itself, you either max out on the copies and you were playing something like the massive draw power, which Suruga will be something I'll probably mention in this video, but we'll come back to. So when you think of the Danger Engine, you're basically using it as a means to self-regenerate and things like that. And certain danger cards, I almost feel, are weaker than others. We've definitely seen that the format has evolved to the point of the preconceived notion that we had with danger cards was everybody's going to use all of these self-broken danger cards in a way that, well, you know, would make them incredibly broken. And I understand that that's not the case now. We've evolved things, but that doesn't mean that the Danger Engine should not be approached and be checked at this point. Because if we come in and we use the effect of checking Salamangreat and Sky Striker on this list, then that's going to propose the question of, well, what happens at that point? And we've already seen that once you remove Sky Striker and Salamangreat from the equation, if that's the approach we take, you will then see the Danger Engine explode back onto the scene. Actually, I think the two best engines that you've probably seen in a format like that, well, actually, probably every deck will play the Danger Engine with Azathoth. If we don't check Azathoth, that'll be a discussion point for a much later video as well. But if you leave the Danger Engine, you'll have Lunalights, all the other decks that are trying to abuse it. You'll also have, you know, Pendulums, but that's all speculation and theory. So what do we need to do to kind of preemptively check the Danger Engine without destroying it too hard? Well, I want to put Nessie to 1. I actually think that Nessie is probably the best of all of the danger cards because he gets the ability to tutor for anything in the deck. And we've kind of learned in the past, having Rhoda-esque cards in a format like this isn't necessarily a good thing. And I hate to say that because Nessie does bring the archetype together. He does kind of literally fill in the holes that we needed. But my problem is searching for that extra danger card really does cause issues. So I think the best way to go about it is actually just to approach Nessie and just put him down at 1. Now, I also know depending on how hard you want to go on the list. One Nessie might be fine. The second hit would probably be to start looking at Jackalope. And I've seen a lot of banlist predictions where they've gone after Nessie and they've gone after Jackalope. And I look at Jackalope as a card. And my first thing is, okay, so special summoning one to the field isn't necessarily terrible, all right? So you're deck thinning one, and you're not adding the danger card to your hand. But in a deck where approaching Suruga is the best thing that you can do, and having extenders to special summon more guys from your deck, you're compressing at a very weird rate. And I mean, honestly, being able to summon a Bigfoot from your deck for no real reason at 3,000 is kind of dangerous. So I would approach Jackalope with the same realization that I would with Nessie, and I'd probably approach it to 1 or 2. There's that. Now, there's actually talk about people wanting to go after Tsuchinoko. And this one is interesting to me because Tsuchi himself is in a weird place. And the reason why he's in such a weird place is because no matter if he's discarded or he's discarded, he summons himself to the field. And I think that's kind of the point that when people look at the Danger Engine and they're like, oh, what do we go after? Well, you start with Nessie and then you go to Jackalope, and then if it remains an issue, you clean up Tsuchinoko. But I think the real approach that people are trying to do towards Tsuchinoko himself is viability as an engine. And having a danger card that just special summons itself is not bad. And we've already seen that a lot of decks were approaching the possible just use of Tsuchinoko outside of itself, or outside of the core Danger Engine. So there is that. Now, I do want to talk about Suruga, and this will probably be brought up in multiple videos. Last format, I brought up the point and said, alright guys, hey look, Suruga is a card that should be limited to 1, and I still think I'm fucking right to this point. All you naysayers are like, oh, Suruga's not an issue. Yeah, he is. Having the ability to suck up into the first Suruga, get the draw effect, stack your 4 cards, and then send 3 back. By the way, you can have 6 cards in hand, draw the 10, send back 4 bad ones. You got 6 resources effectively ready to go that have been restacked, right? So that's inherently why Suruga is broken. Plus, special summoning more cards from your hand to make your next Suruga, throw in Schwass and repeat. They didn't make these card effects limited to 1. Suruga becomes an imbalanced card when you're approaching the game state through limitations. When you see these broken cards being played in a format that, well, it wasn't meant to be the case. A lot of things have to do with the fact that Suruga and the Danger Engine kind of go hand in hand. Getting the ability to restack your Danger Engine is honestly why you're abusing multiple Surugas and why it's so unfair. That's why I said if we approach the Danger Engine, you have to go approach Suruga, and you're going to have to put the card to 1. Obviously, it's causing other problems in the format right now. We've seen that. But, it's just a power card that should never have been... It should have never been at anything other than 1. Like, I know in Firewall just kind of did the same thing. Oh wait, Firewall did it 95 times better. But the 1 special summon is crazy from the hand. So, now, to the naysayers out there, I understand that Droll and Lockbird exist as a card. I get it. I understand that Droll naturally checks the Danger Engine. You can still resolve your dangers, you just won't get to draw. Okay, cool. That's all fine and dandy, and like I said, I know that somebody's gonna just say, oh, we got the natural check in the format, you don't need to hit the Danger Engine, like, I spent all this money. Alright, sucks to suck, but just because a natural cure for this bullshit exists doesn't mean that it's going to help the current format. That's not how this works, and I'm sorry to say that. You have to think about future implications. Leaving such a powerful engine unchecked is naturally going to lead to a bad thing. And I'm just saying, we're all in danger if we don't do something about this. So, In the future metagame scenario, like I said, where we remove Sky Strikers and Salamangreat, the Danger Engine reemerges as this powerhouse. And I think the preemptive hit is going to be the best way to go about checking the deck. I don't see any reason. I even think putting Nessie to 1 is enough. Alright, like, the Jackalope and the Tsuchinoko hits are kind of just if we need to do more. But I think in the long run, just approaching Nessie for the Rhoda-esque effect that it has is a very good start. How we approach the rest of the engine, I think that Dogman, Mothman, Bigfoot, Thunderbird, I think those cards are good for what they do for their deck. It's just kind of within the self-centered engine of itself that we're kind of seeing the issues between Jackalope and Tsuchinoko and Nessie as the best ones. And putting all 3 to 1 might actually check the engine. We'll have to wait and see. Do you guys agree with me? Do you disagree? Please leave a comment down below. Please, I'd like to have some logical discussion to further build on in further videos. And, oh guys, I'm out. Peace. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a Truffle Shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.